Chapter 32. House Husband. While I was absorbing everything there was to know about the insurance business, Russ was packing our belongings and moving things into storage. Although he had decided the family would follow if I was successful, his letters suggested he couldn't wait that long. I left on May 14, 1985. Russ decided to follow 2 weeks later, on June 1st. He wrote to me every day, describing what he had done to prepare for their departure. His loving words and loneliness were emphasized in each letter, and I love you was deliberately scrawled on each page. However, his letters weren't all gush and longing. Some were sad, like the one he wrote about his mom. He had taken his sister Jeannie and his mom out for lunch. His mom was solemn during their visit until Russ mentioned he hoped the church would return the $100 check we had given for the girls' summer camp. Jeannie was surprised and asked innocently, "How come you want your money back?" Russ said his mom looked hurt and responded, "They're probably not planning on coming back, just like the last time." We really didn't know if that was the case, but since I was doing well, she was probably right. One of the most stressful things Russ told me he had to do was quit his job mowing lawns. He wrote that he was going nuts thinking about it and decided he would tell his boss the next day. However, the next day, as he was getting ready to leave, the wife came out the back door and told him how much they appreciated all he had done while her husband was ill. She added, "You're the most dependable employee we've ever had." Russ wrote, "How can I quit cold turkey after that? It will shatter her perfect image of me." "Well, maybe after mowing a dozen yards tomorrow, I'll feel different." Which he did. Once everything was in storage, Russ sold our horses, rented out the modular home, and left on June 1st. Pulling a small trailer, he and the girls arrived a little over a week later. It was as if we'd never left. We went back to First Baptist and began serving on the junior high staff, as the girls were now in junior high. When we arrived, friends asked us to house sit for them during the first 6 months. It was a blessing, as we could settle back into a routine without spending money on an apartment. There was no need for Russ to hurry out and find a job, as I was bringing in an adequate income. Russ stayed home, took care of the house, the girls, and volunteered at the church. He wasn't embarrassed by our reverse roles, and no one questioned his manhood, whether he was doing the dishes or driving a train. His large bones supported his 6-foot frame, and he carried himself with a godly attitude that others respected. We were thankful to the Lord that he had an opportunity to be with our children 24/7. While I was spending long hours learning about my new career, he was bonding with our girls. For me, I benefited the most as I came home to a clean house, happy children, and dinner on the table. It was an unprecedented season that still holds fond memories for all of us. We had only been there a short time when the girls met Jessica Roman at church. Her mother, Becky, invited me to a Tupperware party, and we hit it off immediately. It wasn't long before we pulled our husbands into the mix. Other than family, they were the first real friends either of us had had since high school and have continued to be our best friends ever since. June 1986. We had been back in California exactly a year when we received a letter from Russ's previous employer. They were reopening the phosphate company and requested all their employees to return to work.